Hi guys, this is Karl Harry Winson here, and you're listening to Through the Grapevine. Thank you so much for listening and checking us out. I really appreciate it. Now, on this week's episode, I was able to sit down and chat to the larger-than-life Mr. Simon Ward. And we were recently together at an event in France called the French Event, which was amazing. It was an event for about 700 people. Top-level choreographers, workshops every hour of the day for 3 days straight. The social dancing was just electric, and I would highly recommend going along to experience the event. If you are someone that has seen the event advertised and you thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind going, do it. It was amazing. So I was able to sit down and chat to Simon for about 15 or so minutes, and we spoke about how he got into teaching, how he got into choreography, and also the travel that comes with the job, really, and especially coming from Australia, he has to travel a long way. Now, the only thing that I would say with this interview, it was a lovely sunny day. We decided to do the interview outside, which was great, but there's a couple of points in the interview where there's a little bit of rustling due to the wind. Now, hopefully that doesn't take away your enjoyment for the interview, but it doesn't last very long, so just gloss over that, if you will. But yeah, hope you enjoy. This is my interview with the fabulous Simon Ward. Okay, so we're here with the fabulous Simon Ward. Simon, how are you doing?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you very much. Now, we're here in the middle of France, and you have got a massive tour coming up, a European tour. Tell us what you're doing and where you are and who you're with.
Yeah, I do. I actually just arrived yesterday after 36 hours of travel. So I'm here in, is it Bourges?
I don't know how to pronounce it, so yeah. And I feel like it's sacrilege not knowing how to pronounce where you are.
Damn English-speaking people. Bourges, yes, I'm here in France, so let's stick with that. And then I'm off to Switzerland next weekend, and also Festiline as well that I'm doing also. In between that, though, I am having a bit of downtime, which is going to be really great. I don't get to do that very often. So I will be in Spain, and I'll be hanging out with Niels and Joe Thompson-Szymanski in Spain, just having a little bit of a time out with them. Not a bad gig. And then in between Switzerland and Festiline, I'm heading to Turkey with a good friend who just happens to have a villa there. So
nice.
It's nice to have friends in high places, yeah.
But it's good to have downtime as well, because the amount of travelling we do, I think the travelling can stress us out a lot. So to get that downtime is really important, isn't it?
100%, and it's the travelling aside, which is obviously, if anyone's travelled to or from Australia, they understand where I'm coming from. But it's also the mental side of it, because when you do travel, for example, like yesterday I arrived after 36 hours, but straight away, bang, you're on. You're into it, and it goes with the territory and it goes with the job, and I'm not complaining, but it's more, as soon as you walk into a lobby or into a room or whatever it may be, there's dancers, and of course, they want to engage with you. So, and I have that responsibility, and also I want to do it. But then, fast forward 3 or 4 days, it's like I am exhausted. I need time out.
Yeah.
So.
But you enjoy what you do, don't you? Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. And
well, after 32 years, you would think so. But I did have a few breaks there, here and there, off and on. And COVID, I think, to be honest with you, is what reset me. I was probably one of the first choreographers to kind of put my hand up and say, I'm out, because so many gigs, so many workshops did get cancelled, especially because I was in Australia and we couldn't fly anywhere. And that kind of reset me, having that break, being locked up, because we had one of the toughest restrictions in the world. And that's when I really realised, I miss it so much.
Yeah.
And I think I took it a little bit for granted.
Yeah.
And I probably wasn't in the best place personally. And I've since worked on that and got myself into a place that I just love it again. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah.
So when COVID happened, did you go back to I'd say regular job, normal job? Were you able to get work? And
yeah, I was quite lucky, and the old saying, "Don't burn your bridges," and that's exactly worked in my favour, because I have had a background in finance and banking management and lending management. So I did reach out to previous work colleagues that I had before, and I was very lucky that a position did come up where, I was basically handed the job. And I've never been so excited in my life to get a job, because I went from zero, and organisations like the Line Dance Foundation, bless them, reached out and helped me out for a little bit, which is why I became an ambassador and helped them out so much as much as I can. But yeah, I was just lucky I landed on my feet. But then when the restrictions started to ease, and I think my first gig was with Madison, we travelled over to Rachel McEnany White's event, Sunshine and Line. And, we had to get COVID tests before just waiting for the results to make sure we could travel. And it was a whole different world. But when we got to that event, we had never been so excited to hit the dance floor again and just be with our friends and our work colleagues and the dancers, the social dancers,
It does seem that since COVID happened and everything was lifted in terms of restrictions, line dancing just went from this and just shot straight up again in popularity, and like social media's got a lot to do with that. Is it as big in Australia now as it is like over here in Europe, and is it just like skyrocketed again?
100%, because when I started 30 odd years ago, I remember the very first night I walked into a line dance class, and it was like in a big barn kind of style, and there was like 500 people line dancing. They were all dressed up in their Western gear, and I was like, what is this, like a cult? Like, what is this? And to see it do a full circle now, but to see so many young people come into it. And I hear a lot of criticism about, making it country again, or making it somewhat yeehaw-ish. Say that's just the term I'm using. It really disappoints me, because if I look back to when I started, that kind of line dancing and the country music and the gear and everything, like, that's what got me hooked. And I just evolved into this other area of line dancing when it comes to style, technique, styling, all this other stuff, like that just evolved. But if I go back to what got me hooked, it's exactly what's happening today.
It's kind of like doing a massive circle again, isn't it?
100%. And so I'm grateful for it. And what I'm also seeing is the young people that are coming through are just so kind. They're so polite. There's no politics. They just love it.
They're enthusiastic.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm also seeing now that crossover now, where they see what we do and they go, oh, okay, there's more to it than just shuffling and stomping. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where it goes. And
what year did you start choreographing then? How long ago was that?
I think I did my first line dance around 1992, maybe. And I ripped off some moves from a Jane Fonda fitness video. It's a true story. I choreographed a dance called the Rhinestone Cowboy to Glenn Campbell, and I still do it today when you think about it, looking for something different, looking, what can I put in here? And so I do my research, and even back then, I think about it. Yeah, I actually I was watching Jane Fonda fitness video, and I stole one of her moves.
Did you start choreographing or teaching first?
I think teaching, to think about it, like if I look back, I was asked to be a part of like a club back in Wollongong, and so they did get me to start teaching, and if you call it teaching, if I look back how I was teaching, but I guess back then, it wasn't so judged, or it wasn't as competitive. So, and then I wanted to have a crack at choreographing, but I've always loved to dance. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to these school discos. They were called blue light discos. And I remember I entered a competition to win a chocolate milk and a packet of chips, and it was the Whitney Houston I Want to Dance With Somebody. And I still remember to this day, I danced my butt off for that chocolate milk, and I got it. Yeah. So it's always been in me. And one of my favorite artists I remember as a kid was Shakin' Stevens. I don't know if you remember Shakin', and the song Green Door. And I do remember, as an 8-year-old boy or something, like performing for my parents and their friends at a barbecue or something. And I thought, if I look back, it was all there. So I've always loved it.
Do you have classes in Australia? Like, do you teach classes yourself? Do you have regular classes, or?
No, I don't. I do. Funny enough, as we're talking about the new influx of dancers, I do a honky tonk night back home, and that wasn't my idea. That was actually the venue's idea. It was the couple of guys who own a really cool dive bar, and they love country music. So I used to just drink there casually, and then they found out that I teach line dancing. They probably didn't realise how far, what I did, what level. But yeah, we went down and we did our first night. It was a huge success. So we do that once a month. But again, it's more of a novelty thing because we also incorporate like a country music night as well. So,
and is that something that has risen in popularity? The country bars and the honky tonk bars and all that.
Well, country's cool again, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
You know, and we, you know, like it or not, and I know there's a lot of people would like to debate this, but like it or not, it is artists like Beyonce, for example, who brought out, you know, Texas, whatever it's called, Texas Hold'em, whatever was it called? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But anyways, Beyonce's song, for example, well, that just brought in a whole new generation of, people that want to line dance, and then TikTok, and then you look at, but then if we want to go back to real country artists like Luke Combs and, Morgan Wallen and those kind of artists, well, look at Post Malone.
Yeah.
You know, he was R&B kind of thing, and he moved over to country. So, look, music is diverse. It's, it's matter of opinion.
So still on that topic, and this is very controversial in the line dance world at the moment, what are your thoughts on the current AI music that's coming in? And how do you feel that's affecting line dancing? Is that good? Is it bad? And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. And to be honest with you, and I am going to be brutally honest, and with my opinion has changed as I've gone on. And the reason being is originally I put a post out on my Simon Ward Line Dance page on Facebook about AI. But what my post was about was I get a lot of music sent to me, and they were YouTube links.
And I actually sent you one as well, and I was oblivious to the fact that it was AI at the time. So I was completely oblivious to the AI.
Correct. And you know what, to be honest, I wasn't really aware of it at first either, but it wasn't until, like, for example, they'd send me a song by Teddy Swims and Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going, I haven't heard of this before. So I would go on Spotify or something to have a look, and it wasn't available. Then I watched the YouTube clip, and it's just still shots of them. It wasn't actual video clip. I'm like, hang on, something doesn't seem right here. And it was released back in August, and okay, well, I've never heard of it. That's when I realised, hang on a minute, AI's creating these songs, and they're advertising it as well-known artists. That's where my beef came into it. For some reason, it got translated into I'm against AI music. Now, don't get me wrong. My preference is I would love to go and watch an artist perform. That is my preference, always has been. I love live music. But I'm not against it. You know, if the floors are full and people are smiling and having a great time, why not? My thing is I choreograph to something that moves me. I don't choreograph something to hit the charts or to win an award or, you know, to be popular. If I feel it, I'm going to choreograph to it. Simple as that. Unless it's a full-blown rip-off, as in a Teddy Swims Ed Sheeran track that isn't them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's my opinion.
So, can you tell us more about the LDF? Because this is something that I've not actually spoken about on my podcast, and we've got a lot of new people that have come into line dance that might not know about the LDF, what it is, what it's about, and I think it's incredibly important, especially with what happened with COVID and with instructors and choreographers and people in the line dance world. So you can tell us a bit about that, because you're an ambassador for the LDF as well.
That's right, yeah. And the LDF is very special to me. I'll do everything and anything to support them, and I'll continue to do that for as long as I can. Now, the LDF is a non-profit organisation. LDF stands for Line Dance Foundation, and Betty Drummond, kind of started this off. I'm not exactly sure who with. I know Helen O'Malley is very involved with this, and they just do incredible things for the line dance community. Now, that could be an instructor, a choreographer, a DJ, a personality, whatever it may be. Now, a lot of us, this is our full-time job, and for example, if I walk to a workshop and fell down the stairs and broke my leg, well, that's it, I'm done for 6 weeks. No income. Absolutely none. So the LDF would more than likely jump in and assist me to get through that 6 weeks. And they do it for people, with families. It might be an illness. It could be, a good friend of mine just lost their son in a motorbike accident. And boom, they jump in straight away. They're just there for everybody. And what I love to see is that it's become worldwide now, where originally it was kind of like more of a UK kind of thing, and now everyone around the world. There's so many ambassadors around the world that are behind it, and there's so many like little pockets of, it might just be a social, and they might just raise, say, $500, for example. For me personally, that's 1 week's rent that I don't have to worry about. So you might think that it's not a lot, but that would be a whole week I wouldn't have to worry about putting a roof over my head. So it goes such a long way.
Yeah.
It's an incredible organisation. You can go on the Line Dance Foundation social pages or website. You can read up on it. All the information's there, but I just highly encourage everyone to get behind it because that's what keeps our industry going when we're not going, basically. Yeah.
And one final question: what is your favourite piece of choreography that you have written, and what is your favourite line dance that you haven't written?
Okay, I can answer the second question really easy.
Okay.
And that's New York to LA.
Nice.
By
Okay.
Rachel.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that dance. It's like this energy burst that goes through me. I think Rachel just nailed that choreography.
Yeah.
When it comes to my own, look, it's really hard because it all comes down to what I'm feeling at the time. So, sorry about that.
Sorry, guys. We're currently sat outside, and we got some of the French have just come past us. So.
I was trying to be really professional, and I was like, Simon. I was like, I lost it. Sorry, everyone, I'm back. Okay, so when it comes to my own choreography, look, Beautiful in My Eyes will always have a special place, and that's just done so much for things like the Line Dance Foundation and stuff like that. There are two dances that are not really well known, and that's called Validation. I did that during COVID, and I taught that in the digital dance event that Rachel used to do. And Validation was around, the purpose of that one was around, why am I seeking validation all the time? And that was more of a mental health kind of message to myself, like, why is it so important to you?
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of work around that validation is not important. And then the second dance would be called Self-Love, to a Taylor Swift song called Lover. Now, she's obviously singing it about a fella, like a guy, but I'm singing it to myself.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the devil and the angel. I kind of look at that song. And, you know, there's a lyric in there about, should I go out or should I go home? And, you know, the old Simon would want to go out, and I would regret it, and I'd pay for it. Where the new Simon, or the Simon I like now, goes home and has to sleep, maybe because I'm 50.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm 50, I can't do it anymore. But my point is, any of those dances that I do that have a message to me, and that's what I choreograph to now. I don't just go, I just want to make up a dance. Something has to speak to me for a purpose. And
You have to feel it.
I have to feel it.
Yeah.
And that's like the one that I've done recently called This One Is For You. You know, I did it for...
I love that.
I did it for David and Cody, who lost their son in a motorbike accident. And it just goes through my bones, so yeah.
One of my favourite memories of you is, I think it must have been one of the first CBAs I attended, and the nominees dance was Beautiful in My Eyes, and I'd learnt it, and I absolutely loved it. And I remember, this comes down to your professionalism.
I know what you're going to say.
When you walked onto the stage, ready to dance it, and then a video package comes up.
I know.
So there's a video package behind you, but Simon Moore's just stood on the stage waiting for the song to start for about 3.5 minutes.
Guys, I'm telling you now, when that happened, and I got told many times by Steve Healy and that, don't go until you get the cue. And me being me, I know what to do, and off I went, and I got out there by myself in front of 900,000 people, and I'm like, excuse my French, oh crap. I've just screwed this up. And I stood there, and I remember the video package going, and I remember my front legs, because I tried to hold this really professional pose, and my legs started wobbling, and I could hear all you guys backstage going, hold it, and I'm like, help, get me off. I'll never forget that. Yeah, that was... Yeah.
I think that's my favourite memory.
Oh, no. It's one of my worst.
Thanks for chatting. I appreciate it.
Great to see you too.
Enjoy your weekend, all right?
Yes, thank you.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, guys. Take care.